Good day. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Welcome. This is our first episode of Beyond the Fulcrum, and today we have with us Pundit Vishal Siewnarine. So, our podcast is about grounding our conversation in culture, spirituality, and community in a way that tradition shapes our health and lifestyle. So, I am very pleased and honored that you would join us today, Vishal.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Denisio.
Yes, so my first question is we're going to talk a little bit about Hinduism and the Hindu culture and just how the traditional practices and teachings shape our health and diet, especially for the Hindu community. So I know you as well. You have a PhD in mathematics.
Yeah, so they say, yeah.
How does someone with a PhD in mathematics become a pundit?
Um, it's more because I like understanding fundamentals. So mathematics is the fundamentals of science, and then, well, I grew up in a Hindu environment, and as spirituality is fundamental to the human condition, to the human existence, so just a fundamentals person.
Right. That's interesting. And what journey led you to becoming a pundit? What was your higher calling? What happened?
It wasn't really a higher calling; it was more my father calling, to be honest. Nah, he wanted both his sons to at least have some degree, some level of religious or spiritual knowledge or training or whatever it is he didn't do in his life because he was too busy having fun. That's my take. I don't know if that's true or not. But no, he wanted both his kids to be like that. So at first it was more him, you know, let me say gently nudging us
Right.
into that direction. And then later on, I started to think for myself, and well, there's a lot to explore, there's a lot to be proud of, there's a lot to learn. So I decided to keep going with it from there.
Nice. And what does being a spiritual leader in the Hindu community mean to you?
It means people come to tell you their problems a lot. That's one of the things. It also means, you see, especially for the Eastern traditions, is a little bit different for the Western traditions in that you get a little bit more variation, a little bit more variety in the religious practices. So you have to navigate a little bit through what people's preferences might be,
Right.
religiously, that is. So it's just about accommodating them and seeing what makes them feel good, for lack of a better word, in terms of, completing a religious task in the way that they feel sufficient.
Yes. So, by profession, I am a registered dietitian and a public health nutritionist. And over the past 3.5 years, I deviated into becoming a real estate agent and starting a brokerage.
Nice.
So there are persons that know me in different sectors. There are some that don't know that I am a health professional, right? But from my experience as a health professional and interacting with clients on a daily basis, there were a lot of things about the Hindu culture that I didn't know and I don't understand.
Yeah.
So, for in the event that there are other health professionals similar to me, can you take us through the Hindu calendar?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I've had experience with this from my time in Toronto. You meet people there who are, they don't know anything about Hindu or Indian culture at all, and you have to start from scratch. So I'll talk from the Trinidadian Hindus. I mean, there are different kinds of Hindus. The Indians in India, they'll have their own thing, but we have our own thing here in Trinidad. Perhaps the biggest festival, not perhaps, the biggest festival for Hindus in Trinidad is Diwali, that happens either in October or November. The Hindu calendar is a lunar calendar. It's a little bit different to the solar calendar that we follow. After that, not after that, like in order of magnitude is what I mean. There's a festival for 9 nights, Navratri, Naratam, some people call it. And then I would say the next biggest one after that is Shivratri and then Pagwa. Both of those would be earlier in the Gregorian year, February, March time. Those, I think, would be the main Hindu festivals that are celebrated here in Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
In between, there are smaller festivals, but I think let's start with the major ones first and then see how it goes.
Okay. So for Diwali,
Mm-hmm.
is there any specific way that persons would eat leading up to Diwali? Is there like a set fasting period? How's that set up?
Right. So the tradition here is that you're meant to fast 3 weeks before any major Hindu activity, any festival, any puja or program you want to do at your home. Fasting here means, I need to be clear, sorry. Fasting here means you avoid meat. This includes fish. I've had arguments about this before. Is fish meat? So this includes fish and eggs. And you also abstain from alcohol during that 3 week period. That is the classic approach to fasting for any Hindu festival or Hindu event, personal or public.
So that's no meat, no fish, no alcohol
Correct. That's
for
again the
3 weeks.
classic. Yeah. But yeah, for 3 weeks.
Okay, so but they're still eating, not fasting for hours.
Correct. Right. So yeah.
So it's more
absolutely correct.
abstaining from.
Yes, it is more abstinence than
Yes.
yeah. They say fast. I understand now where this is coming from. Yeah.
Yes.
It's an abstinence more than a fast. Yeah.
Okay. And for Diwali itself, on the day, what is the diet like on that day?
So again, traditionally, the diet on that day is what we call prayers food. Many people might know prayers food. It's paratha roti, curry chana and aloo, pumpkin, mango takari. You'll get other things too here and there, but that's traditionally what people do. Some people like to not be traditional and cook other genres of vegetarian food. So you might get some people, let me try some noodles and red bean with stew soya. That happens. That happens. People do that. I know yeah, some people even go on to the Indian cuisine side. They'll make like paneer or kofta or something, and maybe naan. So those would be things that people typically consume on the day itself.
Right.
I remember that's the end of the fasting period. That's a big festive time, so the meals there would not look like what they would eat prior during. Keep saying fasting because that's what I'm used to during
Yes,
the
of course.
abstinence period.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And Diwali, exactly. I know it's the festival of lights.
Yeah.
Is there a link between Diwali and what Diwali is on diet, or is it separate and that's just the tradition?
No, there's no link between the lights and the diet at all. The diet again is tradition. It's purely tradition. It's not even religious. It's a traditional thing that's just passed down.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you know where where did that origin start? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't even know where the 3 week period came from.
Okay.
I've heard people say things like that is the minimum amount of time needed to remove some kind of toxins that build up. I don't know if this is true or not. Right? I don't know, but that's something I've heard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the traditional practices, and then there's the spiritual practices. And that's really important to note. As you pointed out just now, the diet, those are traditional things.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it's not linked to spirituality and the beliefs per se. Is
It's
it?
not that it's not linked. It's not that
Okay.
it's not linked. All right. So I need to give you some
Clarify.
law. I need to give you some
Okay,
law, some
no
Hindu
problem.
law here to answer this properly. So Hindu, I don't know how to say this. Let's say health experts from thousands of years ago, the Ayurveda people, they have divided, not just them, but the philosophy divides all things in the universe into three rough groups, right? These are Sattvas, Tamas, and Rajas. So Sattvas is supposed to be calm and illuminating and pure, that kind of feeling. Rajas is more energetic, more active. And Tamas is a bit slower, a bit dull, a bit inertial. And the theory is, and I say theory for the benefit of the audience, is that all things in the universe are made up of these three components. Let's say components. Food is one of those things that is made up of these three components. So the whole point of a Hindu life is to move from a less evolved state to a more evolved state, spiritually speaking, right? Not
Okay.
physically speaking.
Right.
That takes thousands of years. So in order to do that, there's a lot of mental work that needs to be done. And you want your mind to be in this more calm, pure, illumined state, this sattva state. So you want to incorporate more of that. So your environment, even your outer environment, you try to have that be clean, you try to have it be pure, calm, and also what you put into your body, food, should be primarily consisting of this sattva component.
Right.
So here's the trick. I don't know what food. No food comes with a label that says 70% sattva, 20% rajas, 10% tamas.
Correct.
Right? For some reason, meat has been classified as being tamasic, so that's why the tradition has started as you abstain from that thing that sort of makes you a little bit sluggish. It doesn't allow for an easy evolution process, and you want to instead ingest or consume foods that allow for an easier time when evolving spiritually. So that's the idea. That's the idea.
Right.
Yeah. And then people take the idea, and depending on time and place and circumstance, it manifests in different ways. So right now in Trinidad, this is how it manifests. Consumption of alcohol and meat is it doesn't happen. Those are considered tamas, tamas heavy things to consume, and the vegetarian lifestyle that remains is considered to be more sattvic, more conducive to spiritual growth.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that is a very long answer to the question. So it's not that it's not linked. It is kind of linked. It's just it's not clear to me that any arbitrary vegetarian diet would be sattvic.
Right. That's rather interesting.
Yeah.
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 Okay. And I guess because of this sattvic state and the aim to become or transcend into this space, that's where the cleaning side of things comes with, cleaning your home and preparing your home for Diwali.
The cleanliness is to contribute to the outer environment having more sattvic qualities in it.
Right. Right. Interesting. And then from Diwali, is it Narantham, you said?
Right. So I guess I should talk about Navratri, 9 nights.
Navratri.
Navratri, yeah, that's Sanskrit. Hindi is a little bit different. Fine, it's fine. I don't care too much about the language. So that festival happens actually a little bit before Diwali. So this whole, the month of October roughly is quite important for practicing Hindus in terms of diet and nutrition. So they will be fasting potentially for long. I keep saying fasting. They will be
abstaining. But it is fasting because that's what our tradition is to call it in Trinidad.
Yeah. So I guess it's fine to say.
Yeah, it's fast. In this context, it's fine to say fasting.
Yeah. Right. So because the two festivals are close together, you'll find that practicing Hindus or some of the more serious ones, they will be fasting for longer than 3 weeks because they'll fast for Navratri, and then there's a short gap in between that and Diwali, and then just keep it going, right?
So you fast. I presume that's another 3 weeks before the 9 nights.
Yeah. So they would start before 3 weeks before Navratri, that 9 nights festival. And so that would lead up, and then they would have the festival, and then shortly after the festival would be Diwali. But if you're fasting for Diwali, then that 3-week period often overlaps with Navratri. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Because the festivals are so close.
All right. And can you expand a little more? What exactly is Navratri?
Oh, Navratri is very exciting, actually. It is a festival that celebrates specifically the feminine aspect, the feminine energies of Bhagwan. That's how we say God. in Sanskrit. So it's dedicated to 3 particular manifestations of Bhagwan, Devis we call them. And there are stories about them, there are lessons we can learn from them. And I think it's actually quite important, especially in Trinidadian society, to, pay more attention to honoring and respecting the feminine aspect of God.
Why is that?
I don't know. I feel like there's still a lot of inequality happening in Trinidad. I mean, that's just my view. I don't know if that's a bias or whatever. I think there's a lot of gender roles here that's strictly enforced, and that's just propagated from one generation to the next, and people don't think about what's happening. And the world is becoming more modern.
Right.
Women could do things now that they couldn't have done 25, 50 years ago, but parents don't see it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why.
And is that view specific to in the Hindu community, or is that general?
I mean, a lot of my exposure is in the Hindu community,
Okay.
but I would suspect this would be general.
General.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit more about Navratri, the celebration of the feminine energies and the 3 specific gods you said.
Yeah. Yeah. I can tell you about them. The first one is Durga Devi. She is known for being courageous and fierce and a warrior. The most popular story around her is, they needed somebody to defeat one of these very strong demons who thought he was impervious to everything and everybody except a woman. So they said, all right, we'll create this divine female form and she'll come and deal with you for thinking you could be so arrogant. The other Devi is Lakshmi Devi. She's responsible for all kinds of prosperity. Typically, your mind runs to financial prosperity, but there are other kinds of prosperity as well. Health, as we're on the topic, is a form of wealth. They say you have 100 problems until something is wrong with your health, and then you only have 1 problem.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So she is responsible for all kinds of prosperity, not just finance, although that is obviously the most common interpretation. And the last one is my favorite, actually. She, Saraswati Devi, typically known for education. But I like that she's known for also communication, something I struggle with. I know I'm saying that on a podcast, but I like that, she governs communication. There's a lot of pieces that go into communication, so.
Yeah. And what better way to improve communication than to communicate?
Right,
So,
I know, yeah.
It's part of what we're doing here now.
Yes.
So for this festival, I don't want to butcher the name. There's a 3-week fast, and then there's a celebration for the 9 nights. What happens during these celebrations?
So personally, families would have some offerings done at their home. So they would invite a pundit. The pundit would come do a puja. The puja is what I mean by the offering. So it's
Okay, yeah.
a series of steps, series of offerings you make to the Devi, to the feminine form. So that's on a personal level. That happens quite often. Pundits are known for being busy during this time. On a more social level, community level, the mandirs, the temples, they have, oh my God, I'm using so many Hindi words here. I need to explain all of them. They have satsangs, so they invite everybody, and they also do a puja within the mandir, but they also have a discourse given to the public by a pundit during that time. So the pundit would, again, just refresh everyone's memory about Devi and the feminine form and the stories and what they mean, things like that. People cook a lot of food. People eat. Because the Devis, this is something you should know that. Yeah, the Devis are known, and other forms of God too, yeah. They're known to have favorite foods. They're known to have favorite foods. So I think Durga, they make lapsi for Durga. I don't know how to explain a lapsi. Don't ask me how to explain lapsi. Sweet rice is for Lakshmi. They usually make sweet rice. That's easier to explain as like
Right.
rice pudding.
Okay.
I don't know what the favorite food for Saraswati Devi is.
Okay. So at the celebration at the Mandir satsang, that's where you will get these specific foods.
Yeah. So the food, so one of the offerings you make to the Devis is food. That's like one of the big offerings. And okay, because you've been told they have a favorite food, people,
Okay, would
because
prepare
it's
it
from a spirit of love and devotion, they want to do the best
to
they
honor
could.
the god as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, it's like, she likes this, let me make this for her.
Right.
If we do that now too, then
Yes.
my niece, she likes
likes this,
pilau,
yeah.
I'll make pilau and she comes.
Correct.
It's the same idea.
Yes.
So yeah, you'll see that more often.
Yes.
I should say. People make it otherwise, but you'll see it more often during the festival.
I did attend one satsang, and I did get, there's this little ball, it's yellow, and it tastes like split peas, but it was sweet.
Yeah. That's confusing, right? Yeah. That's laddu.
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 Interesting. That was delicious. It's full of spices, but it's made of peas.
Yeah, I think it is made from dal, yeah.
Quite interesting.
Yeah, laddu is the favorite food of Ganesh Baba, the one who is responsible for removing our obstacles.
Okay.
I'm asking him for a lot these days.
Oh gosh. Okay. And so these are the foods that are really served over the 9 nights. The 3 different
No.
areas?
So these what I've described, they're sweets. They're sweets. They're
Right.
not the main course, so
Okay.
to speak.
So they're like the dessert.
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know if dessert is
The
like
right
native
word.
to Indian
May not be the
cuisine.
right word for sure.
Dessert feels like a European thing. I don't know.
It
though.
is.
I don't know.
I think it is, yeah.
I don't know. But it is the sweet part of the meal. Let's say it like
That's
that.
it. Yeah.
It is the sweet part of the meal. The main course would be this typical, the roti, the chana, the pumpkin. Again, nowadays people do mix it up. They do incorporate other genres of vegetarian food because you do get kind of tired of eating the same thing every day for
Okay.
9 nights, or 6
Right.
nights, or 3 nights, however much you choose to celebrate.
Yes. Right. And then there's the festival after that. Which one is that?
So yeah, if you follow in the typical calendar,
It's Diwali?
no, so Navratri will come, then there's a
Diwali.
small gap, and then Diwali will come after that. Yeah.
And after that?
After that, there's nothing for the rest of the calendar year, nothing significant. I will say there are other, like I said, small festivals, but nothing significant until we wrap around back to maybe Shivratri in February, March, around that time.
Right. And what does Shivratri celebrate?
Ooh, this is also very good. This is also exciting. The answer is in the name. So it's also a Ratri, like Navratri. So that was 9 nights. Shivratri is for Shiv.
Lord Shiva.
Bhagwan. Yeah. He's very cool. He's very cool because he is primarily known as the form of God of Bhagwan that is responsible for the dissolution of the universe. That's a lot of big words. People say destruction. I don't like the word destruction. I think dissolution is better. And that's a cosmic event. That's a huge event. That's a huge event. So the prevalent theory, again in Hindu culture, and I say theory again for the benefit of the audience, is that the universe is in a cycle and it goes from the state of like a seed, very small state, and then it expands into a big tree, and then it comes back down to the seed state, and it keeps doing that. And the process where you go from the tree to the seed is sort of destructive or it dissolves back. Or another example people come up with is that you make a lot of different shapes from clay, but then when the clay dissolves back into the earth, there's no difference. It's just all earth at that point. So he's responsible for doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, very powerful, very unpopular.
Sort of like the growth cycle of life.
Yes, exactly like that. I was maybe not exactly,
But yeah, very similar.
yeah.
Okay. And so I'm guessing there's a 3-week fast before this.
Yeah, people typically. Yes. So that's again recommended. That is the religious recommendation. You see, the trick is not the trick. The trouble is not even trouble. The timing of Shivratri coincides with Carnival. Next Shivratri, I think, is on Carnival Sunday.
Oh my.
So that disincentivizes some Hindus from completing that 3-week fast.
Okay. Oh gosh.
But the religious recommendation still stands, yes,
Okay.
to fast for the 3 weeks.
All right. And then this one is also 9 nights.
No, this is a single night.
One
This is a
night.
single night, yeah. A single
And this one is also based on the moon. That's the moon is
yeah,
what
yeah.
guides.
Most Hindu festivals are calculated from a lunar calendar.
Okay.
Yeah. So you'll find a lot of festivals happening on full moon. Diwali is a new moon festival.
Okay. And for Shivratri, this is celebrated at home or at the mandir?
This is
Or it varies?
no. This is more. Hardly this happens at home. This happens much more often in mandirs. Much more often in mandirs. The reason being is, you're not supposed to, but there's a sort of Shivratri challenge that happens every year where you wake from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning, and that's part of your offering or part of your fast. So people go to the mandir because it's easier to stay awake in crowds if you stay at home. They actually don't advise you to do any kind of meditation or anything because you will knock out if you try to sit and close your eyes at 2 o'clock in the morning. So this happens a lot more in the mandir for that reason.
Okay, I see. And so the other one you mentioned was Pagwa.
Pagwa, yeah.
And when is that celebrated?
Again, around February, March, around that time, yeah. Guyana has a holiday for that. We don't.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't.
And the diet for Pagwa is around the same.
Yeah. So whenever somebody will tell you as a Hindu they're fasting, it means it's a vegetarian diet. No meat, no eggs, and an abstinence from alcohol. Yeah. There is a point to note as well. People have their own personal fasts.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my limited knowledge is that when a woman is having a baby, is it that the pundit, she goes to the pundit and the pundit will determine which day is the fasting day for the child?
This is news to me. I
I have heard that the pundit will give them the name for the baby, give them the name for the child.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is a thing that happens. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there are different fasting days because I have come across clients who their fasting days on a Sunday, their fasting days are Tuesday, it's a Thursday, and I've asked them, well, who chooses the day, and they've said, well, the pundit. So
Right. So
there's some who said the pundit, and there are others, I believe, maybe they think it's depending on the day they were born, and
I could explain that. I
Yes,
can
please.
explain that. So in the same way, different devas and devis, they have favorite foods. Some of them are also assigned days of the week. So and the more popular ones, of course, right?
Right.
So if someone has an inclination to a particular form, and let's say Hanuman, for example, right? And that his day is Saturday, and somebody has an inclination towards Hanumanji, then they may want to fast somehow. I don't know how. Again, this one, there's no tradition really. This is more of a personal thing. Whatever you want to do, you could do. Once you're making some form of sacrifice,
Right.
they'll do that on the Saturday.
Right.
I have something like that. So the pundit will tell them Saturday because they told the pundit, I like Hanuman.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
That's
okay.
what I think happens.
Right. Makes sense.
That's what I think happens. But people do they're fasting for different days, just based on what they want as well, what they like, what they prefer. I used to do one up to recently, actually, on Thursday. I used to fast from salt until 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. or something. I used to fast from salt. That's also something that happens. People fast from salt.
From salt. So does that mean that the food they eat would not contain salt?
Correct. So a lot of people do this. This is popular during this Navratri festival. Some people go the whole 9 days without salt, which is kind of insane to me. I don't understand how they could do that, but they do. So good on them.
Why salt? Why salt?
The idea again is you're sacrificing something,
Okay.
and taste is a very powerful motivator.
Right.
Extremely powerful motivator. You cannot convince a diabetic to stop eating sweet rice that easily because it just tastes too good.
So is the thinking a personal sacrifice to then help you develop some spiritual upliftment?
Yes, that's part. Yes, that's along the same lines. So, all right, I need to give you more law. There's a lot of law here.
Right.
I need to sit down. Prevailing idea is that we are attached to our senses. We are not our senses. Right? We have 5 senses, one of which is taste in this context.
Correct.
If you fast from salt, you start to cut into that idea that you are attached to the sense of taste. You're not eating food for taste, no, you're eating food for nutrition. And so because you start to detach, you start to pull away from that attachment, you are able to think, all right, if I'm not the person that tastes the food, who am I? So you start to put yourself in a more introspective place. I'm not the person who sees, then who am I? I just receive the image. I'm not the person who hears, things like that.
Right.
So that's really a more philosophical idea of why the salt fast is there, to eat into this attachment to taste, strong attachment to taste.
That's quite interesting. And I say that because from a health perspective, when clients have their dietary habits and they've eaten this particular way for 50, 60 years, and they find themselves with diabetes or high blood pressure, and you're as a health professional advising them of things they need to limit, avoid, adjust the way they prepare it.
Yeah.
They kind of like have this shock factor, like, what? How am I to do that?
Yeah, because they're attached to the taste. They feel like they have to have it, otherwise the meal isn't complete or something. Yeah.
Yes,
It's a strong binding mentally.
And we speak to them about the concept that food is for nutrition, food is for your health, to sustain your health. The point is to get the nutrients from the food to sustain our life for growth, maintenance, and repair, as opposed to the social side of eating, or eating what is available or accessible, or eating what we like.
Yeah.
So that was quite interesting.
Yeah. You reminded me of a line from one of these stotrams out in a Punjagam. It's like a series of short statements that helps you live better. One of them is treat food as medicine.
Very nice. I like that. And we actually use that a lot.
Right.
Food as medicine in our work.
Right.
Right? So, from your perspective, how does the current diet in Hindu communities impact overall health? Seeing that it seems like there are roughly maybe 4 days, for festivals or 4 periods in the year where they are called to follow a vegetarian diet.
Yeah.
Then there's a vegetarian or fasting or abstaining, a day of abstinence from whatever they may choose, whether it's salt or
that's much less common, but yeah.
Right. Actually, it is still common. A lot of the more older, mature, practicing Hindus still have their fasting day and they stick to it.
Okay.
And the outside of those periods, the rest of the year, I presume they're eating a traditional Trinidadian diet.
Sure. That's reasonable, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. But yet we still see there the instances of diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol.
The diet is not good. Even of it. That's why I had reservations about saying earlier how any arbitrary vegetarian diet could be considered sattvic. There's a lot of oil and starch. Oil and carbohydrates.
Yes.
Yeah. Even the vegetarian foods.
Yes.
Paratha roti. Have you seen how
Oh,
paratha roti?
yes. It's crazy.
The
It's
more
a
butter you
lot.
put, the better it tastes. The more oil you put, the better it tastes.
And that's the thing, because fat equals flavor.
Yeah.
That would make the food taste good. And so a lot of persons have a hard time now when we are talking about the amount of fats they put in the pot to start, to start the pot when they're cooking their takari or tal curry, depending on how you pronounce it.
It's the curry. Yeah.
Takari, right? And, then there's the quality of the fats that they're choosing and they're using. And either way, it still affects health. So, how do we change the narrative, or do we change the trajectory for health in that regard?
Okay, so there are some good things that come from the Indian cuisine in that a lot of these, like garlic is medicinal,
Correct.
ginger, and
Turmeric.
several other things. Yeah, turmeric. I was wanted to say saffron, but then
Yes,
my
saffron.
Persian friends would have beat me for saying saffron. So that is very, very common to put into Indian cuisine, and those are medicinal. So they should keep doing that.
Correct.
About changing the trajectory, I don't know. That's a generational shift that has to happen. I really don't know. I mean, you have to just keep telling them, keep educating, especially the younger ones. Know that you're prone to hypertension, you're prone to diabetes. You should exercise more regularly. You should watch your diet. I think that's the only real way to have that shift away from these trends where Hindus and Indians, it's very common to die from these lifestyle diseases.
So before we end, I want to ask a little bit more about events, major life events, weddings,
Oh yeah.
the birth of a baby. And so I know to be a Hindu, you have to be born into the family.
No,
No,
it's not
that's wrong.
true. Yeah. It's
Wow,
not true.
I've believed that my entire life. At least that's what I heard.
Yeah, no, that's not
Okay.
true.
Okay, tell me and enlighten me.
No, I mean, if you have a look at some of the ideas and you like it, you accept it, and that's really the only condition.
Wow,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay. So is there like a ceremony or something when a baby is born and becomes a Hindu? If that, and I'm saying that because in the Christian faith, there's a
I know where this is coming
baptism,
from.
even for adults, if an adult is changing from one religion to the other, there is a ceremony of sorts.
All right, I need to be careful because I don't want to blend the two. I need to be
Yeah.
distinct, the Abrahamic and the Hindustani. There is no ceremony.
Okay.
There is no ceremony to become a Hindu, whatever that means. Like I said, if you've listened to the ideas, if you've thought about them, if you find they make sense to you, and you practice them on some level on a regular basis, then you are living a Hindu lifestyle. There's no ceremony, there's no proclamation, there's no declaration. People live Hindu lifestyles, but they follow other religions.
Right.
I don't know if they know they're doing that, but you see, also the word Hindu is a little bit loaded in this context. Trinidad, Hindu, the word Hindu is restricted to a religious context,
Right.
but from history, it refers to a cultural, a group of people with a particular culture.
Okay.
The Hindustani people, or
Right.
short for Hindus, or short Hindus, right? It's just like Europeans, right? The Europeans, they look a certain way. They have a set of languages. They have a set of foods.
Right.
They have a set of religions. In the same way, the Hindustani people, they look a certain way. They have a set of food. They have a set of religions. They have a set of languages.
Right.
So this was the old usage of the word Hindu. And I actually realized this when I was in Toronto. I was in a shop and they recently legalized marijuana over there. And I went in just for fun. And there was a brand called Hindu Kush, right? Hindu Kush. So my Trinidadian brain was like, but why Hindu in front the marijuana product, right? But then I went away and I thought about it and I looked up and it's like, no, it means this plant was grown in the Hindustani region as a geographical reference in that
Okay,
context.
right.
Yeah. So the geographical context has been lost, the cultural context has been lost in Trinidad. It really comes down to a religious, and I say religious, it really is a collection of religions in Trinidad. And I've completely lost what you asked me at the beginning of this rant.
But no, it's all quite relevant.
I hope so.
It is really all
Oh,
quite
right. How to
relevant.
become a Hindu. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying there's no ceremony. And here you're referring to the spiritual side of things, right? Just do what the other people do and you'll be a Hindu, I guess.
Okay, and so it's similar for babies. There's nothing specific.
Yeah, so that's something else you mentioned too, and that's something I personally have reservation with. People say babies are born into a religion. To me, that doesn't make sense. The child doesn't know what's happening. No child could be born into any religion in my head. You could be born into a particular home, a Hindu home, a Jewish home. You could be raised Catholic, you could be raised Hindu.
Right.
But religion, to me, at some point, is a personal choice.
Correct.
And when you've made that choice, then you have belong to that religion.
Okay.
When babies are born, there's a ceremony, but that's a more festive thing to say, hey, hooray, we have a child, the mother is fine, the child is fine, let's celebrate, because this is a joyous occasion.
Correct.
It's not sort of
It's not.
bringing them into a religion or something.
Yes. And this, so is there fasting before this ceremony?
Nah, I don't think so.
No. And the food for this ceremony is
I don't know. These are smaller ceremonies, like only family is invited.
Okay.
So
the family decides.
there's a lot of variety, yeah.
Okay.
I can't pinpoint a particular
That's it.
set
There's
of-
nothing specific traditional about that.
You're asking your wrong place.
And for weddings.
Again, yeah, weddings are a lot of variety, right?
Okay.
Depending on budget, depending on the preference of the bride and groom. There's no that this food has to be here for a wedding.
Okay. So can you tell me, how can families balance tradition with modern health needs during these events? The traditions, what they do traditionally, along with balancing the spiritual side of things, what do you think might be needed or might be the missing piece, if there is any?
And they have to think about their health. To me, that's the more important thing, right? Whatever food comes out of that is secondary to some extent. Your health is important. And whatever you need to do to take care of your health, I think you should do. It's one of the highest priorities in your life, to have a healthy lifestyle. Yes, people will want their traditional foods, but you have to be aware of what you're eating. So I think, again, education is very important. If you want that piece of paratha roti, then, work for it, like exercise or something before, and then go to the people wedding. Just be aware that, this is a high calorie meal or something, and there are repercussions for this. And
Yes.
that's what I could say. Just make an informed choice.
Yeah. And do their best to find the balance.
Yeah. I'll leave that to the society.
Yes. That's interesting that you would say that, because some years ago, I had a Hindu client come into the clinic, and she was following a vegetarian diet. And she was practicing vegetarian for roughly like 3-4 years. And she was complaining of aches and pains, and she was walking with a stick. She was kind of hunched over. And so I went through her diet, what does she usually eat and so. And I told her, well, your diet is low in protein.
Yeah.
And she looked at me shocked, like, what? You know, she's just like, I'm eating healthy. Like, why am I shouldn't be sick. I eat healthy. And I said, you are healthy, yes, but you are missing protein. And, after discussion about, the importance and the role protein plays in our diet, I asked her, well, what are you willing to do? These are your sources of protein. You have your plant-based proteins, and you have, of course, the animal-based proteins.
Yeah.
And I said, are you willing to eat peas, breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And she's like, yeah, that's too much peas.
Right.
And when we spoke about the animal protein, she said, okay, she reintroduced eggs and I think milk.
Yeah.
And her follow-up visit was 3 months later, and she was walking fine. She had no walking stick. And she was like totally blown away that just eating more protein, had such a change on her health. So it's interesting that you would say, find the balance. Your health is important. Do what's best.
Yes, that reminds me of a case with me. I did a blood test a while back, and I broke the machine at the lab because they couldn't find any B12 in my blood.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's a dietary issue.
Yes.
I tried to fix that by eating nutritional yeast, which is very high in B12,
Yes.
but I couldn't keep up the consistency because making a new habit is very difficult.
Correct.
So when I took another blood test a little while after, I again broke the machine. There was no B12 to be found. That's a serious thing. It's apparently important.
Yeah.
So then I started to take these tablets.
Supplements.
The vegetarian,
Right.
but they have quite a bit of B12, and I am more regular with the tablets because I like my nervous system to be in order. It's
Yeah.
very important for my daily activities. So that's something I've done. I think my diet, really restricts how much B12 I get naturally.
Yeah.
So I have to either, be very, very disciplined with the nutritional yeast, which is a more natural option, or take this tablet. Some people take an injection too.
Yes. B12 shots.
But I like pain, so I like to have the discipline, just inside my head all the time.
Yes. Understandable.
Yeah.
So, in closing, what would you like to leave our listeners with as they try to live more healthier, more spiritually aligned lives?
What would I like to leave them with? I don't know. There's a nice doubles place in Calcutta. I'd like to leave them with. No, I'm joking. No, prioritize your health. Your health is important. Understand why you are fasting. That's very important as well. Not just doing things because somebody said to do it is important. There's a reason why you're doing it. Is to move from a less evolved state to a more evolved state spiritually, and that should shape the choices you make for your diet. I would say if you're feeling good, again, for lack of a better word, you'll be in a better headspace to make progress. You'll be in a better headspace to make progress. It's tricky to balance with the traditions, because societies could really apply that big pressure on you. Do your best. Do your best. Everybody has their own time, place, and circumstance. Just do your best. I think health is important. So that's me personally.
Thank you very much, Pundit Vishal.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yes. Take care.
This was fun.
Thank you.